Assalamu alaikum. I'm A.H.M.ZAHIR calling you from Colombo. Today the subject is how much of us love this beautiful, cool hill country of Nuwara Eliya. It's a wonderful place. I was born there. My father was a businessman. He came there in 1925 as the first singer manager. He started his business, Zahir, and it was a mighty business empire. He was well known. He was a Qazi, a member of the Urban District Council. He was the one and only man who went to see the Queen. And here you are. And I'll show you something true. And here is that photo of in 1954 when he went to see the Queen. And it's this. Then came the 83 violence and we were all destroyed. We went to air and everything went out of control. And our land acquired view on the streets. From there, for 30 years, constant insistence and struggle with the government, I get a portion of my land back, yet retaining half. But it's good, it's all for the good, it's all for the good. Now look at my paintings. Now these are my paintings, which I've done, and then we are going out into the garden. Then onwards, what happens is this. And there, you go on and on and on, and then what happens is, after a long struggle and struggle and struggle, from zero again, after 30 years, we had to start life, get up in a new form. So everything happened for the good. Today, I am no longer a businessman. I am an artist. You can see my paintings in the YouTube. Paintings of Zahir. In the YouTube, you can see me. I am on the Facebook, A.H.M.ZAHIR, the link in the Twitter. And through the Facebook, my love for Nuwara Eliya, whom from my early childhood, whom I dreamed had become a part of my family. Sir Samuel White Baker. Sir Samuel White Baker had come to Nuwara Eliya in 1845 in search of elephants. But long before him, Nuwara Eliya was discovered in 1819 by Dr Davy. But even before that, there are a lot of stories about Nuwara Eliya, starting from the Ramayana, its mythology. The kings of Kandy who came up to Nuwara Eliya in search of gold, but then when Zulzugaminus also you find they came up to Pitiruthalagala in search of iron ore. Maybe they had it, but then the name Pitiruthalagala itself had its own name called Yakaragala. Then there is the Kandyan rebellion. 1818, the Kandyans fought, and then what happened in 1819? In 1819, peace prevailed once again. And when prevails once again, a team of soldiers headed by Dr Davy, they ventured to explore the interiors of Kandy and to see a region called the Hu. They were going on and on and on and on. On top of Kikliyamana mountain, they see this beautiful region, a cool hill called the resort. And the guides this is called the Nuwara Eliya Patana. Nobody lived there. It was a country full of, a region full of wildlife, vegetation, and teeming with wild animals. And to your greatest surprise, a rare species of elephants. This was a very fascinating sight for all of us, and then for them, not for me. And this team immediately goes back to Kandy, where the governor lived, Edward Barnes, and told him this exciting story. The governor said, okay, that's a nice idea. Why send our boys back to London and they are for convalescence? Let us start a military hospital. And in 1829, the governor orders for the construction of the military hospital, and he declares Nuwara Eliya a convalescence station. And then, in the same time, he orders for the construction of the Barnes Hall, the present Grand Hotel, to be constructed for as his residence, holiday bungalow. And that's the face of the first Nuwara Eliya. Then what happens is, around 1845, it's a different story altogether. A very enterprising explorer and engineer and a one-time governor, he was Sir Samuel White Baker, son of Sir Cassinia, grandson of Captain Valentine Baker, going as far as Queen Elizabeth I, or the Baker of the Chancellor of Exchequer of London. He ventured out of London into the east. He in search of the big game. He comes to Africa. From Africa he arrives to India, and from India he comes up to Ceylon. When he comes there, he gets really disappointed to see the place was so lull, and he had just left Mauritius port and he found the whole world was active. But here the things were different. He found a few fishing boats. The whole town looks dead and dry. What's gone wrong? He found a half-starved man going on a bullock cart, which is itself half as hungry as him, the owner, to see why has gone wrong. The country was under recession. The coffee era has come to an end, and with the problem of the coffee blight. Oh God, now he was really disappointed, and then he finds what really went wrong. So let us see. Now he wants to start his elephant hunt, the big game. He asks everybody, where is this big game, where is the hunt? Nobody knew what a big game was. He asked whether it was football, or whether it was football or cricket. To see these guys who saw well, they were nothing but these planters who should have been in the estates, were just sipping beer in one of the hotels, most probably it was GOH or the Gold or the Oriental Hotel, that is the hotel at that time. Then he was quite disappointedly as he went through Cinnamon Gardens. Someone tells, okay, the big game was in a place called Nuwara Eliya. And hearing that, he goes traveling up and sees. And to see, yes, it was a beautiful era. There was a rest house. The only building available was the governor's residence, the Barnes Hall, and about 20 families, small mud huts made out of thatched wood and mud roof. He stays that night at the rest house, which is the present post office. And in the rest house, he has a terrible time. He had never slept. It was so dusty, so filthy. And the food bread was some brown bread, a hard piece of beef steak, and some locally grown potatoes. It was terrible. On the following day, he goes up to see the area. It was so beautiful, nice, cool air, like in England. And he goes up and sees the place, and he goes around, and then he gets back home. While in London, when on top of his bungalow at something like Abapeta, where you get the very busy streets. Like in the Second Cross Street, I used to always think there also it was in the 1840s. He was seeing the busy streets of London and contemplating, oh, nice, I should get back. I should get back to this country and do something. And then he tells this exciting news to his brother John, his sister Florence, and then he gets a shipload of English vegetables, poultry, cattle, and his men, and this ship comes sailing to the port of Colombo. And the story goes on how he goes from the port of Colombo, he goes to the big yard, and how the cattle and the cart gets dives somewhere in Caledonia, and then again they get into another car, they come up Rambuda, and from Rambuda the whole thing topples, and on it goes. And then finally it arrives at Nuwara Eliya, and there starts the story of the baker's farm, the birthplace of all the English potatoes, vegetables that we eat today, the poultry, the chicken, every string starts from baker's farm. The baker himself, the very first racecourse of Nuwara Eliya started on the baker's farm. So John, who started brought the horses and everything from there. The brewery started there. He had his own beer. And entire renaissance of Nuwara Eliya started once again. With that thing, Nuwara Eliya started to emerge into a nice colony and activities took place. Not today. And there was, apart from, before I conclude, there was a governor, Gregory. Now, he was another person who really improved Nuwara Eliya, where he did so much, where he dammed the stream of Talagalavya and made it into a reservoir, a lake called the Lake Gregory. The Chief Secretary, Colonial Office was very, very suspicious whether this governor would even make Nuwara Eliya the capital. And things went on, and then was the independence, and then things, as in happening all over the world, these things went underground. It is so exciting. From my childhood, who was this, I had on my hand been in touch with the Baker family, and then that was in 1999 when I gave a speech at the international school about the Baker farm, and then the night I get a call from one of the directors that somebody has come to Grand Hotel and we're going to meet Mr. Ayamanon, a leading lawyer, attorney at law, and Maria Suse, who was also one of the chairman of the school, and we all went and met her. In 1999, he was Venice Barry. So I quietly corresponded with her for 5 years, and then finally she found I was really in love with the Baker family. They were doing a lot of research, and she gave me an award to float the Baker Foundation. And recently, and then I have been time and again with the various mayors of the time, and jewel of a king, it was after Gregory, I met Mahinda Durampe Gamage. I love him. He made all my dreams come true. When I told him, he put me into his jeep, drew me to his car, to his museum at the park, and showed me all those old artifacts. And he asked me to bring him. Then I felt, no, it's for you. And today, I'm driven away to Colombo. I got old. I struggled for 30 years. I can't know another 30 years I'll live. But then again, although with all the adversities, but the good points are, from a businessman, I became an artist, and today a freelance journalist and a research worker. I don't say I'm an authority of Nuwara Eliya, but then I have some stuff with me. But then I'll say, hats off to Mahinda Durampe Gamage. Let us keep him in our, he's a man of the soil, the right vision, and the right price. Irrespective of party politics, I love him. Let us give him to have a fullest support. Hurrah to, hats off to our mayor, Mahinda Durampe Gamage.